What is going on, guys? We're here. We're live for some Monday evening quarterback. I do not know why my microphone was so far away from me. It's usually pointing directly at my stomach or my junk, whatever Nova decides that day. For some reason, it was way out here. But we are here. And we had an interesting day in the NFL, to say the least. On our Sunday Sports War stream, me and Jeremy and John Matrix from Black and White Sports went through and gave our picks. Those turned out to be not worth too fucking much because we had some very interesting results this week.
Yeah, I mean, just like every week, man. Like, you can't predict anything this year, whether it's NFL or college. It's just such an unpredictable situation. But pretty crazy Sunday.
Yeah,
pretty crazy Sunday.
Hey, we're going to go over some of those things. We did get a $3 super chat from Mr. Tex. Happy birthday, closet Colts fan. I'm not a Colts fan. I rooted for Andrew Luck when he got there because I loved how much the Colts fans missed Peyton Manning after I had hated Peyton Manning for so long. But no, I'm a Bears fan, and not like a bunch of the other people in my area in Northwest Indiana who they were all Bears fans. The Colts were shit until Peyton Manning comes along. They start winning the early 2000s. All of a sudden, these people start wearing Colts jerseys. No, fuck those losers, bandwagon bitches. That's what we call them. We're Chicago Bears fans in Northwest Indiana. But anyway, I didn't really expect that coming out, but it just pissed me off. Clearly, it's still stuck with me for 33 years. But we got to talk about the Chiefs last night because that was one of the games we actually picked. You and John said you thought the Raiders were going to pull it out. I said I thought the Chiefs were going to pull it out. And I did not expect the Chiefs to have this kind of night. The Chiefs offense actually looked reasonably good again. Now, they didn't score maybe in the typical Chiefs fashion with these long touchdowns, big explosive plays, and that's probably a good thing. They actually sat there, they ran an offense. Patrick Mahomes had a lot of throws within 10 yards from the line of scrimmage. You know, it wasn't a dink and dunk, but it was smart, smart passing plays, not turning the ball over, not being risky, just utilizing the talent that you have in the proper way. And that really paid off with a 41-14 victory over the Raiders.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't watch the game. We obviously were streaming Mario Kart last night, and then I streamed forever on my other channel, my Twitch channel. But so I was so pissed off before that game even started because from a fantasy perspective, I had a really bad day, and I'm like, well, I'm going to need like 40 points from Patrick Mahomes, but then I'm also going to need him to not, Tyreek Hill's not going to need. Yeah. So it's like, it was almost, but so I was like, oh, there's no chance. I mean, I've got a fighting chance to win tonight, but I've got to have a lot go my way. So I just kind of tuned that game out. And then when I looked at it, I was like, holy fuck. Like, they whipped their ass. You know what I mean? I couldn't believe it. Now, I haven't even seen the highlights of it. So it was a methodical kind of dink and dunk type of situation. Ryan, is that how they did it? Did they gash him or?
Yeah, it was gash. You know what? It was getting their players in space and letting them run, as opposed to Patrick Mahomes standing back there, running around forever, or trying to get a long 50-yard throw or something like that. You know, it was smart. And I think the first 3 touchdowns were all, pretty close to the end zone because they had driven down there methodically. Right. I guess that's how I'll put it. I wouldn't say dink and dunk, but I would say it was just methodical. It was using the speed they had in the right way. And that's something we have not seen from them these first several weeks of the season.
No, not at all. I mean, I'm not willing to just say that KC's back. They've had several bad games. Clearly, this is a talented team. You know what I mean? So there's no doubt about that. So they had a really good day against a division opponent. So it's a good day. I'm not willing to say they're going to the Super Bowl now. They're all the way back because they've shown that they've got a lot of problems. But it was a pretty crazy scenario to see how much they turned up on the Raiders, because I thought the Raiders were going to win and they didn't. So, but KC, I'm not putting any legitimate stock into them. It was a good game, but doesn't mean anything beyond that to me, because I've seen too many bad games. 4 straight, like not even 4. I mean, almost every game this year, they've been pretty bad. They have not been legitimate this year. Really, They've been very inconsistent. So finally, one game from a talented team and a talented coach, that makes sense. But now they got to show the consistency, and I'm waiting to see that.
Well, I think it is an important game for them and a tone-changing game because of the way that we saw them play. That to me was the biggest thing because you're not going to win every game. Sometimes you're going to struggle, but they've been struggling for 8 weeks doing the same thing over and over again. Finally, it looks like they've clicked and they've made an adjustment to that. So I do think they have a good chance to continue this momentum that they got from this victory, even though they've lucked out a couple weeks in the past, getting the Packers on a non-Aaron Rodgers night when he was out. They've lucked out thus far, but now, as much as we've talked about them, they're on top of the AFC West.
Could be just a bad game from the Raiders too.
I mean, it could be certainly. And their offense definitely did not look good. Derek Carr made some really bad mistakes, but that doesn't really account for that offensive output that we saw from the Chiefs. But, a team that could be potentially an AFC championship matchup for them is the Tennessee Titans. And as this super chat says here, cruising through time for $5, birthday, and my Tennessee Titans shout out, please. We're going to shout out the Tennessee Titans because they did beat a very injured New Orleans Saints team. New Orleans goes in. There was a really good game. Came down to a missed 2-point conversion at the end with, I don't know if people thought Trevor Siemian would be playing the way that he has, but again, he played pretty well in the absence of Jameis Winston. But no, Alvin Kamara was a big deal for the Saints, and the Titans get it done at home. Another very close game for a team that's coming with some injuries themselves. They lost Derrick Henry. They lost Julio Jones, at least for a little bit of time for Julio. So they do what they need to do against the Saints at home.
And I guess there's an outside shot that Derrick Henry can return late in the playoffs if they make it late in the playoffs. That's kind of the timetable for him, which
probably
might be the worst case scenario for their opponents if that happens. If Derrick Henry is healthy and didn't go through the grind of carrying the ball, 20, 30 times a game leading up to that, and his rehabilitation goes well, the Titans just look legit, dude. I doubted them yesterday. I was like, all right, I don't think they're going to and it was a close game. But they won again against, a very good opponent. And without Derrick Henry, they just continue to step up. So if they continue on this path and then they get Henry in the playoffs, that could be a very dangerous situation for whoever they're willing to face. Cause, I don't know if I want to see that a healthy Derrick Henry coming back and with this team rolling like they are. They look scary. They look scary as hell.
It could be. A lot of it's going to depend on what Derrick Henry can do between now and then. You know what I mean? Because it's one thing to come back with fresh legs, but it's another to come back with legs that haven't seen anything. You know what I mean? Where he's not as strong as he should be. And then you also, a lot of times when guys rush back from injuries like that, specifically to the legs, they might be overcompensating with the other leg. You risk further injury to Derrick Henry. Do they want to do that? It's going to be a tough decision for them. Even if
they brought him in just to be almost a decoy of sorts, because him being on the field, being in the backfield, that's going to take so much attention, and the defense
absolutely
can't play as deep as they normally would with him back there. So gives them options.
That offense is so heavily predicated on establishing the run and the play action. The play action, being able to free up some of their playmakers downfield for that vertical passing game with Tannehill is important for that team. And so far, these first couple weeks, they have been able to do that. They have been able to do that. And I want to look at the box score real quick to see who got the most carries for them. Yeah, listen, you got guys there that are not getting chunks at all in any way, shape, or form. You had Adrian Peterson, 8 carries for 21 yards. Donta Foreman, 11 carries for 30 yards. Jeremy McNichols, 4 carries for 7 yards. They are not effectively running the ball right now, and they're getting by. I don't know if that's sustainable for them. I really don't know if that's going to be sustainable for those guys.
That's kind of how I felt yesterday, and they proved me wrong on that one. I was just like, all right, last week they did good, but this week's going to be a little bit different.
Well, I thought it was a close game, to be fair.
Yeah.
Saints missed that 2-point conversion at the end. Could have been a different story if they get that. But yeah, no Alvin Kamara definitely is a factor for them. They still don't have Michael Thomas either. So Mark Ingram was their lead back. Did eclipse the all-time New Orleans Saints rushing record. I think he took it from Deuce McAllister, if I remember right. So now Mark Ingram has more rush yards than anyone in the Saints organization in history, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah.
It's not crazy because it's like, oh, think of all the great New Orleans Saints running backs, but you just don't think that, Mark Ingram was there for that long, but I guess he was. Alabama man right there.
Roll Tide, baby. Roll Tide. Again, just to be clear, since everyone knows that I know my sports, I'm pretty much the greatest sports analyst ever. I predicted Trent Richardson would be a better running back in the NFL than Mark Ingram. So clearly I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. So there we go.
I didn't think Mark Ingram would be shit. I was surprised that he was successful as he was, because after that it was Trent Richardson, or before that it was Trent Richardson, right?
No, Trent and him were there basically at the same time, but Trent was after him. So
okay, yeah,
and then Derrick Henry came after that, and but if you just look at it from a talent standpoint, like you go back to college, like I was convinced that Trent Richardson had more raw talent than Mark Ingram. And if you watched how they ran and everything, like Mark Ingram always came off to me as an Emmitt Smith, almost like got a great line. You follow your blockers, you know what I mean? And Trent Richardson came off more of a person that created his own space in college. But clearly I was wrong with my prediction on that. So Mark Ingram but Mark Ingram's a more disciplined runner too than Trent Richardson. And that's why the thing that I thought would hold him back is actually the thing that elevated him. Like he's a very disciplined runner. And no, he's not like a great NFL running back. He's not like a top 10 or anything all time, but he's turned out to be a really good running back in the NFL.
He's still in the fucking league.
Yeah.
Which is more than you can say for Trent Richardson. Which is more you can say for fat Eddie Lacy, that fuck. Because that was during that time, because you had like Eddie Lacy, Trent Richardson. I was like, fucking Mark Ingram ain't gonna be shit.
Yeah,
that was my perspective on it. Mark Ingram ain't gonna be shit.
Yeah,
and a really good, solid running back who now holds the all-time record there.
To be fair, playing in New Orleans with Drew Brees for all those years obviously opened up a lot of opportunities for him too. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. Like he has had a great career, a good career, a really good career. Whereas a lot of these Alabama running backs, outside of Derrick Henry, really haven't really translated well to the NFL. But Derrick Henry's a fucking beast, and Mark Ingram has been really good. So I'm happy. I'm happy for him.
Yeah, I think that while it's all said and done, Derrick Henry, as long as there's no catastrophic injury, will probably end up being the best Alabama running back to ever be in the NFL. But right now, I think that title goes to Sean Alexander. Which he kind of gets looked over.
He does get looked over. He even got looked over when he was in the NFL, when he played in Seattle, because Seattle wasn't the Legion of Boom at that point. You know what I mean? They were just Seattle, and they had a great fan base, but they weren't on the national scale like they are now, or at least they were.
Was that back in the Rick? That was after Rick Meyer.
That was after Rick Meyer. I'm pretty sure that was Rick. I was pretty sure that was after Rick Meyer, because Rick Meyer was a Notre Dame quarterback, correct?
Correct. Rick Meyer's from my hometown.
Okay.
So he played golf at the golf course that I used to wash carts at when I was like in middle school or high school.
That's crazy. Crazy.
Yeah. So I always followed Rick Meyer, but yeah, I think it was after those days. But anyway, we got on a fucking tangent right there. Bottom line, Tennessee Titans win again. They're now 8-2. So especially in that dog shit division they're in, it definitely seems like they've got it wrapped up. But we did have a couple other interesting things going on. The Pats. Now that's a little bit embarrassing for us, because I think we all picked, well, I don't know about all of us, at least two of us picked the Browns to beat the Patriots at home after the Browns had a really big week. Browns had a big week. They beat up on Cincinnati the week before, I believe. They went into Foxborough. The Patriots have not played well, and they literally got the shit stomped out of them. It was bad. Mac Jones just put on a clinic, and Patriots won 45-7.
Listen, there's nobody that I want to praise more than Mac Jones. I like Mac Jones. I think he's in a great situation right now with New England. I think that people are putting a little too much stock into Mac Jones at this point in time. I think we need to pump the brakes a little bit. I'm hearing like
you calling out Dave Portnoy right now? Are you calling out Dave Portnoy?
Of course I'm calling out Portnoy. Of course I am. Portnoy, I love you, Dave. I love you, El Presidente. I got your back. Always got your back through all the bullshit in the media and all of that. I got your back. Okay. But Portnoy's the same guy that when Cam scored like a rushing touchdown last year, Portnoy says Patriots are back, Super Bowl this year. Okay. That's what El Presidente said. Okay. So he's doing the same thing this year. And that's fine. I love Mac Jones. And I think it's the best possible scenario for Mac Jones. He's not Brady. Okay. He's not. People are just like, oh, Belichick found his new Brady. Mac Jones is like, if you look at his numbers, he's like 13 touchdowns, 7 interceptions this year. It's decent. It's decent. Okay. Completion percentage is middle of the road. QBR is middle of the road. The Patriot fan base, and I was in New England for Tom Brady's return, and you were too. The Patriot fan base fucking loves Mac Jones, dude. They love this motherfucker, and rightfully so. He's a great guy. Won a national championship at Alabama. I'm just saying, let's not anoint him the next Tom Brady yet. He's solid. He's good.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, but to be fair for the Patriots, 20 years of Tom Brady there. You look back at the beginnings, and what Mac Jones is doing isn't dissimilar from how Brady started. You know what I mean? Yeah. Brady wasn't the guy we know now when he started there. It was different. He stepped into it and took on more of this offense as the years went by. I'm looking at Tom Brady's second year, so first year as a starter right now. 63% completion percentage, 2,800 yards, 18 touchdowns, 12 interceptions. And then, of course, the next year he throws for 28 touchdowns. Actually led the league in touchdowns that year, which is crazy that 28 touchdowns led the league back in 2002. That just tells you how different it was. Yeah. But there's a lot of reasons to be excited. I think a lot of us thought that the Patriots would be – we should get John Bartolo on to talk about this soon.
Yes, we should.
The Patriots starting to take off. But I think a lot of us thought – I think that they're going to be like 10-7, like at the high end, but 9-8 is I think what we picked preseason. And it looks like they could do a little bit more than that. And it's a testament to what they got going on up there.
Young Rip is in the chat. All he says is Ryan sucks at COD.
What's this bitch doing here? I just told Jeremy I'm going to make him buy me a little fucking monitor to play Call of Duty on. That's what I told him. So that I can beat your ass.
Listen, I'm just going to say something, okay? Rip is all about low-hanging fruit. Notice he said Jeremy sucks at COD. You know why? Because he knows I bring it. He knows it. He can't talk shit about me. So he had to go after the low-hanging fruit. Ryan does suck at Call of Duty, by the way. He's really bad.
I'm really bad at it.
He's really bad.
But we're going to see how I am when I actually have the right equipment. When I have the right equipment, we'll see what happens. I haven't even played with Ripa. I've actually never even watched him play.
He's good. He's good.
Fuck you.
He's as good as me. He ain't as good as me, but he's good. So, but he hasn't played it. He hasn't played it in forever, but he is good. So, and I know like once
that's disappointing.
Now I just started playing Halo Infinite because the multiplayer is free, so we're gonna be playing that. Now I am not good at Halo. I'm not good, but I love playing it. I'm not good.
I feel like I'm better at Halo than I am at Call of Duty, but that's only based off the 2 times we played Halo in the past years because I was consistently top of the leaderboard in that. Yeah. So that was with like Uche playing, stuff like that. So I don't know. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, but anyway, Ripa. Shout out to young Ripa. He hung with me all night last night. We streamed for 6 hours on my D-Day Cobra Twitch channel. 6 hours. But what's weird is maybe you know this because you just recently started you did your RK Outpost Twitch channel about a year ago, I guess. But my first stream, I can't access it. Is there something in the settings, or is it because I'm not affiliated, or what?
There's something in the settings. I'll show it to you.
Okay, okay.
It's you have to set it to auto save your streams.
So now, does that mean that stream's gone now?
Yeah.
Fuck. 6 hours.
Should have hit record.
6 hours and it's gone. What the fuck? That's crazy.
Hit record.
I dropped a 50. I dropped a 50 on Ripa. Ripa's like, I'm gonna drop a 50. I was like 52-7, I think. 52-6. It was crazy.
God, you had that 37-0 start. Did you upload that yet?
Not yet. This one I started out 32-0 in the match that I ended up going 52 or whatever it is. On big map modes, it's good. But anyway, we're that's beside the point. If you want to see us play video games, we've got a Geeks Gamers Twitch channel. Ryan's got a Twitch channel. I got one. We all got one. Go over to Twitch. Follow us.
Yeah, that has nothing to do with this.
None.
We got a couple super chats. Nick from the Nick from the Mo for $5. Happy birthday, Ryan. Thank you, Nick from the Mo. I appreciate that. I'm 33 today. Mike Hill for $5. Without Big Ben, the Steelers couldn't even beat a winless Lions in regulation or overtime. You're not wrong, Mike. And I'm going to take this as a win, even though technically it's a tie. I said I thought the Lions were going to beat the Steelers yesterday. Neither of those teams wanted to win. That was like the most embarrassing thing I've ever seen. I watched, because I was watching Red Zone, but I watched basically the entirety of that overtime period and the last couple minutes of the fourth quarter. The fact that so many of them had an opportunity to win. I know it was wet, whatever. It was unforgivable the amount of time these guys shot each other and shot themselves in the foot, and the other team could not capitalize on it. Jared Goff had like 80 yards passing or something.
It was
in the
bad.
Game.
It was bad.
Pathetic, dude.
It really was. As a matter of fact, NFL memes, I think, let me see. They posted a meme about it, and it was basically like it showed the banners for Detroit.
It's like
yeah.
We didn't lose one time.
Yes, it didn't lose one time in the fucking rafters. I was like, that's so perfect, dude.
I saw that one, yeah.
It's so perfect. Here's one right here. I mean, this is absolutely perfect right here. I love this so much. This is another one. It's not that one, but right here. Can't go 0-17 if you have a tie.
It's true. That's right. They could have like broken their own record of 0-16. I didn't even think about that. Damn.
And then let's see. That shit's crazy. Where's it at? I can't find it. Must not have been this. There's a couple of NFL memes.
Might have been Barstool, actually.
Yeah, it might have been, but
they tweet a million times a day. So, oh shit! Damn, that's brutal. That's brutal for the Raiders.
Oh man, but yeah, that was just pathetic and ugly. That entire game, pathetic and ugly. I don't know how you get to that point, but Detroit, man, just a complete and total embarrassment.
Whenever you have a tie game, typically it's because there were a couple mistakes made by both teams. Like if no one can score in overtime, when literally like your only objective after that first possession is to score a field goal and no one can score a field goal, it's usually not just because, there's just some great competitive. It's usually because there's mistakes involved. And there was a lot of mistakes. One of the worst games I've ever physically watched. And that's saying a lot. But no team deserved to win that game. So I guess we had the appropriate outcome. Fucking tie.
What a pathetic piece of garbage both teams were. That was embarrassing. I wish you would have had that game from Big Ben last week when you played me, even though I still won.
He didn't play. That was a 0.
I know.
Although it would have been the same outcome.
Yes.
John, I think I'm gonna have a pretty big week because I'm already at 100 points. Still got 3 guys left to go. Bert for $5. Happy birthday, Ryan. Wishing you the best. Here's a celebratory participation greeting for Jeremy so his feelings don't get hurt. Happy Monday, Jeremy.
Thank you. I'm always wanting to make sure I get a mention, so I appreciate that.
And Bert also becomes a channel member. Thank you, Bert. God, I got the hiccups because I just ate so much fucking pizza. Jonathan Bordeaux for $2. Theme of yesterday's Saints game was self-inflicted. Yeah, some mistakes from the Saints for sure in that loss. Eric K for $5. Happy B-Day to Brian Kimmel. Thank you, Eric. Appreciate that. Mike Hill for $5. Are you interested in seeing a Halo TV series on Paramount Plus? That also did get, I think, officially greenlit.
It was released today. Yeah. Not necessarily, but I mean, I guess it's going to be cool. But if you ask me, no, I really wouldn't want to see it because they're probably going to do some dumb stuff with Master Chief, probably, and I don't want to see it. But
yeah, Mistress Chief.
Probably that, or they're going to reveal too much about him. Like the mystery surrounding Master Chief is better than, telling that he went through a traumatic experience in life to lead him here. And
that he got butt fucked by some person of color of some time.
Yeah, it's going to be stupid. So leave Chief alone. That's all I'll say.
I like this name. The dude that killed your dog. It's a good profile picture for the name. That's for sure. My nerdy home for $2. Ryan owns an Elmo. Happy birthday, Ryan. I do own an Elmo now that got sent to me. That wasn't near as good as the Domino's and the Pizza Hut gift card and the Taco Bell gift card. But there's an Elmo in the house now, unfortunately. And it makes noise when you squeeze it. I don't know what noise it makes when you cut off its head, but I will eventually find out. But somebody we talked about a little bit earlier, talking about Dave Portnoy's takes about the Patriots, Cam Newton. Cam Newton got released from the Patriots to make room for Mac Jones. Seems like a pretty good decision for them. Cam made his return to the Carolina Panthers, which I don't know if I would have called that necessarily, but once Sam Darnold goes down, they obviously have been struggling lately with Christian McCaffrey out. Cam Newton came in, and we have never seen before a person who's obviously it's not his first throw or first rush for the team in history, but a guy that gets signed by a team and his first rush is a touchdown and his first pass is a touchdown. That's what we saw from Cam Newton. 14-0 Panthers right off the bat yesterday.
Yeah. I mean, look, if you're a Cam fan, I think you should relish this opportunity. It's going to be short-lived. Cam Newton will eventually go back to who Cam Newton is. The Carolina Panthers with Cam Newton will go back to exactly what the Panthers were with Cam Newton. There's a lot of excitement for him to come back right now. I get it. Makes sense. He's got a lot of, motivation. And, but we've seen this. We've seen this story with Cam and Carolina. And we've seen Cam, how he pouts and whines and cries on the sidelines. When things don't go his way, that will return. That's just who Cam Newton is. So enjoy it while it lasts, but it's not going to be something that's going to be successful for the long term. It's just not. So
he's a very emotional player, and that's part of the reasons why people like him, right? Because we've got it in the thumbnail here, and we can see it behind ourselves in between. Him screaming, right? Him taking off his helmet and screaming, "I'm back," and immediately getting a penalty for that. I wasn't quite sure if he said I'm back or I'm vaxxed. I couldn't tell, but I think it was I'm back. But when you're right, when things are going good, he's a great teammate. He's fun. He's laughing. He's joking. He's showing off. He's doing all this stuff. But when it goes bad, he lets that play on his face too. And that's not to say that someone like Tom Brady isn't an emotional player. Tom Brady is. Tom Brady gets really fucking mad. But it's a little bit different with Tom Brady because his is more just about intensity. So when he's happy, it's almost like he's angry, happy in a way. He's intense. He's screaming. When he's mad, he's intense. He's screaming. And it's just not the same with that's an intense player, whereas Cam is an emotional player. We see that from people like Odell Beckham as well, who'll be making his appearance tonight with the Rams. And that's just never a good play because it's just uneven.
Yeah. I mean, Cam's just, I don't like Cam, obviously. I've never liked Cam. I'm an Alabama fan, so it goes back to college. But even when you move into the NFL, I mean, this is a guy who couldn't jump on a fumble to win a Super Bowl. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's Cam Newton. He's talented. He's got a lot of talent, more talent than most people have. But he doesn't have the desire. He doesn't have what it takes. I mean, again, there's a reason that Bill Belichick went for 20 years basically shitting on Tom Brady in front of the media and behind the scenes to going and praising Cam Newton publicly and privately. Like, what? And it's because Cam is a fragile individual. You can't coach him like you can a Tom Brady. And so I don't like Cam Newton. I don't respect Cam Newton. I think that this is a situation where neither one of them could find anything better. So they ended up back in the misery that led them to break up in the first place. That's where we're at.
It is a different coach. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It is a different coach. It's a different system as well. And I think it's a system that may well favor Cam a little more. Because I think he's going to take over next week because he was not the starting quarterback. They had the dude, I forget his fucking name, from the XFL, who is not lost as a starting quarterback as a professional.
He hate me?
No. He was 5-0 in the XFL, and then he won one game last season when he started. I need to look up his name, actually. And then he won this game too, because I guess that's the thing we didn't really say too much. The Panthers did beat the Cardinals. PJ Walker. That's it.
Yeah, John Kruger in the chat said it.
Thank you. Yeah, PJ Walker. So, and he was fun in the XFL to watch when he was going off. But yeah, he's undefeated as a professional athlete now. And they beat the Arizona Cardinals without, again, Kyler Murray.
Yeah. I see Lar 1996 with another 20. Thank you, Lar. Always supportive like that. You're awesome. Really do appreciate you always supporting us on all of our streams. Appreciate you, man. Yeah, with Cam, you know, I described this the other day. I think it was on the Twitch stream because somebody was asking me about it. And I basically just said, well, I mean, you know, essentially Cam Newton, you know, there was all this excitement when he went to New England because he thought he was hooking up with the hottest chick in the league, you know, and then it turns out that chick ain't as hot as she, you know, appeared to be. There's a lot of fakeness, a lot of photoshopping to that girl. And then, of course, once you finally hooked up with her, you realize that she wasn't as hot as she was. And now he's gone back to his ex-old lady that he treated like shit. And, you know, now I guess, you know, of course, it's exciting at first, but it won't last. It just won't last.
Yeah, and we'll see. It was cool to see, you know, I wish that would have been at Carolina as opposed to Arizona to see the reaction that he would have had from the fan base, because I think he's probably, at this point, people are probably ready to be done with him, but you always have those comebacks, and people remember the good times when you come back instead of the bad. So I guess we'll see what happens there. The Greg for $5. Happy birthday, Ryan. $100 super chat. If your wish when you blew out the candles is for Chip Kelly to be fired, make UCLA great again. That's so strange to Greg. That actually was my wish.
I've got the text to prove it. I
told Jeremy that. I told Jeremy that.
Hang on. Let me show you. Yeah. All right.
It's going to be even less pixelated than the Kyle Rittenhouse photos in that trial. So we're going to have all the evidence and present it. Don't worry.
I promise every member of Geeks and Gamers from this point forward will wish for the firing of Chip Kelly if you send $100 super chats.
It's true.
I guarantee it.
That's not a problem. Jake Hedge for $5. Happy birthday, brother. Hope you had a great day. Broncos are going to the Super Bowl and Teddy will win MVP. JK, we suck ass. Oh, well. Yeah, I think they're 5-5 now. The AFC West is very crowded because that win takes the Chiefs to what?
6-4? 6-4.
6-4, and then the Raiders are 5-4. The Broncos are 5-5. The Chargers are 5-4. So nobody's below 500 in that division. Yeah, and the Chiefs are only 2 games above it.
Kind of reminds me of the NFC East, you know, from back, you know, several years back. You know, the NFC East always had competition. You know,
yeah, but basically all of them were below 500.
They were.
That's the fucking difference. That's always the NFC's. Oh, they beat each other up. Oh. No, they're all just fucking average teams. That's what's going on with the NFC East. But the Cowboys, however, did kind of have a big bounce back game, which they needed after getting crushed by the Broncos last week. You know, they come back and they step on Atlanta's throat. Your boy, Matt Ryan.
Yeah, I mean, Matt Ryan. I have more respect for Cam Newton than Matt Ryan. I mean, that's how much I just don't like Matt Ryan at all. He's just not good. He's garbage. I think have we finally reached a point where everybody realizes Matt Ryan's not that good? Do you get that feel, Ryan? Have we realized it now?
He's kind of old too. Like, he's definitely like in his last fucking year or two left in the league as well. I mean, Matt Ryan had some good years. His numbers are probably going to look good by the end of his career in comparison to people that are retired, but not in comparison to people that are currently playing.
That game. Yeah, I mean, the Cowboys, I think we all knew they needed to come back and have a strong showing after what they did last week, because that was pretty embarrassing. Now, I didn't watch this game. Did you watch this game?
I watch on Red Zone. I watch almost all the games on Red Zone, so I kind of only see the highlights of them. I usually will have like, if the Bears are playing, I'll have them on specifically on my computer, and then I'll have a Red Zone up on the TV. So
to me, this game said more about the Cowboys than it did anything. It just showed that they had the ability to respond after getting punched in the mouth really hard. And so it was a nice response to them. I mean, it's not like the Falcons don't have talent. Falcons have talent. They're not Detroit. You know what I mean? They're just inconsistent. They can't close games out. So, yeah, for Dallas to show up and do that, I think that just speaks more about Dallas. Dallas is legit this year. Are they a Super
Yeah.
Bowl contender? I don't know that, but I know they're definitely a playoff contender for sure.
Well, a team that is a Super Bowl contender in the NFC is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And
Yep.
when we talked about this game, I did pick the Broncos, but I also said, listen, Tampa Bay struggled. One of the teams they struggled most against was the Washington football team at Washington with Taylor Heineke as quarterback. And they definitely struggled again. Not just on defense, but on offense as well. I think Tom Brady threw 2 picks.
First one was bobbled. Second one was 100% his fault. And it was a ugly showing from Tampa Bay Buccaneers. A very ugly game. No excuses. It was just ugly. Yes, you can point to the fact that, Gronk is out and Antonio Brown is out and even Godwin was questionable. Leading, I think, up to like Saturday, Godwin was questionable. You know what I mean? So, I mean, it's, okay, they got some injuries. Whoop-de-doo. That's part of it. How's Tennessee adapting to injuries? Yeah. So, I mean, at the end of the day, there's no excuses. It was a bad game. They came off a bye. They should have been better prepared. I think they knew, obviously, you're not going to have Gronk. You're not going to have Antonio Brown. And so you should have adjusted. They didn't, and they looked bad. Do I think it's a big deal? Not really. It just was an ugly game, though. And I don't think there's any legitimate excuses. They just got outplayed, and they were pretty sloppy at times. And I think that bobbled pass that led to Brady's first interception kind of set the tone, and they just never recovered. Yeah. And I think Tom Brady teams just typically have this attitude where they always just have an attitude like no matter how far down we are, we're always going to come back. They just always kind of have that. And I think that's a bad thing in a lot of ways. Yeah. Because it's just like a laid back mentality. Like, and again, even as a fan, I can watch that and go, they'll be fine. Brady will bring them back. And I mean, most of the time that does happen, but we've seen now twice this season in late situations. A couple weeks ago, Brady threw an interception to end the game,
It's a double-edged sword, because you, on one hand, you have those guys that are confident, that aren't going to freak out when they get down, that aren't going to get tight, that aren't going to feel the pressure, right? Because they have that confidence. But yeah, it can lead to a kind of a lackadaisical attitude where these guys let themselves get down instead of maybe pushing when they should.
Yeah. And so it just, it just is a really sloppy game, and you got beat by a team with no name. So good job, Tampa Bay.
Yeah, and like I said, that's the second time that they have really struggled against that team. And we have seen these Tom Brady teams before. They'll have a random villain, and the Giants were that. They struggled against the Giants in that 2007 season, and then they eventually lost to them in the Super Bowl. Lost to them again a couple years later in the Super Bowl. So maybe the Washington football team is kind of that team, the team that's not that talented, that's not that impressive, but for some reason, something they do bugs Tom Brady and bugs that team.
Well, he dealt with that the Broncos and the Dolphins in Miami gave him trouble a lot, over his time in New England. So it's just one of those things. They just have the secret sauce on him right now. So,
yep. And also Chase Young looks like he's going to be out for the year, probably towards ACL on that field there. At what is it, FedEx Field? It's for not the Redskins anymore, but the Washington football team. So I saw a lot of people talking about that because people have been complaining about that field for quite some time, and it looks like it snagged somebody else, which sucks. He's a really talented young player for them.
Yep.
But what did I even want to talk about next? I fucking lost my thing. Oh, here.
Talk about college football.
Yeah, we can talk about college football a little bit. So we were live when Georgia was playing.
Yes.
We were live somewhere. I don't know where. I don't know what we were doing, but we were live when Georgia was playing.
We were live. I don't remember what we're doing. Playing Call of Duty, maybe?
I think we were playing Call of Duty. That's right. And, things were a little tight for like the first quarter and a half for Georgia, but then they showed everybody what they were made of.
Yeah. I mean, Georgia's the best team in the country. That's not even debatable at this point in time. What did we learn from Alabama Saturday? Nothing. We learned nothing. They're Alabama. They beat the dog shit out of a nobody team. If I'm a betting person right now, I'm betting on Georgia to beat Alabama. I just am.
Yeah.
Georgia's the smart money. Georgia's the better team on paper, and what we've seen, they passed the eye test. I still think Alabama, Alabama obviously can win this game when they do face Georgia. But these are the two best teams in the country, and it's not even close. But right now, Georgia is head and shoulders above everyone, and that's not debatable.
Yeah, agreed. And, they did what they needed to do. They took care of business just like they should have. Obviously, that Tennessee team's a little more talented than Midwest Tennessee, Mountain State, or whoever the fuck Alabama played.
Yeah.
But a team that didn't get it done was Oklahoma. Finally, we saw Oklahoma lose. It was to the 13th ranked Baylor Bears. However, I think they've probably got one or two losses on their record as well. And Oklahoma, that was it for them. That was it. That was their chance. That they needed to win out, and they needed a couple other things to happen their way. It's not going to happen after that loss. And
yeah,
we saw it all season. They made a quarterback change, which was the right thing for them. But at the end of the day, they just were never dominant enough in a Big 12 where a team like them, if you want to compete for a national title, you need to be dominant.
Yeah, I mean, right now, Cincinnati's going to have a legitimate chance to make these playoffs. They're going to get annihilated by either Georgia or Alabama. It's going to be ugly. But bring them on, I guess.
Yeah, and I'm kind of rooting for them. I kind of always have been all year to get in there and see what they can do. They do have the last matchup, the last test for them, which would be SMU. SMU, who fell out of the top 25, but has been ranked for most of the season. That's the last legitimate threat they've had on their schedule for quite some time, and that's who they're facing next week. And if they win that, then that's that. And it'll be all up to them, all up to the committee.
I would give Michigan, a one-loss Michigan, the spot over Cincinnati. But
so you would want? Well, here's the thing, though. Michigan. Well, we should talk about that first because the Big Ten right now has 3 one-loss teams. Ohio State is going to play Michigan State this week, and then Michigan in the finale.
Right.
So it's not going to remain that way, obviously.
Right, because I mean, if Michigan beats Ohio State, then they should leapfrog. They should leapfrog Cincinnati, in my opinion. Like they should. But now right now, because both of them have a loss, so Ohio State has 1 loss and Michigan has 1 loss. So now
and Michigan is ranked higher than Michigan State, even though Michigan's only loss is to Michigan State.
Right. So I mean that makes it a complicated thing. But right now, at the end of the day, Cincinnati controls their own fate right now. I think if they win out, they probably have a pretty solid case that they will make it. Now, where does that leave everything else, though?
I would say that Oregon is the one outlier in that. Because Oregon's a 1-loss Pac-12 team. I don't think they really have anybody left on their schedule, but I guess that's.
I'm assuming Oregon makes it. That's why I'm saying like a 1-loss. I would take a 1-loss.
Oh, you would take a 1-loss
Michigan what about Ohio State? Ohio State. A 1-loss Michigan or Ohio State over Cincinnati. I'm assuming Oregon's in. I'm assuming Oregon's in. So you got Alabama, Georgia, Oregon, and then you've got it between Cincinnati, Ohio State, and Michigan potentially. Those are going to be the 3 teams that are going to be vying for that 4th spot. I would take a 1-loss Michigan or Ohio State over an undefeated Cincinnati easily.
I agree. I think you have to
easily, and
I think you have
trust me. So will the committee.
Yeah,
because the
committee doesn't want Cincinnati there.
The money is going to be. So yeah, actually, so I take that back though. So Cincinnati doesn't control their own destiny.
Right. That's what I was saying. Yeah.
So I'm hoping, and I don't think Cincinnati deserves it, by the way. I don't give a fuck. Fuck you. I don't give a shit about how small of a college you are. You don't play any fucking body. So no, I don't think you deserve it. I don't care how go undefeated again next year. You still don't deserve it. Not with the schedule you play. So right now, especially Ohio State, because Ohio State is the most, if I'm not mistaken, and I don't know this for a fact, but they are definitely one of the top 3. But I think Ohio State is the most profitable college football university. If not, it's either
Yeah,
Texas, Alabama, or Ohio State. Those are your
they're
top
right
3
up
money
there.
makers.
You know they are, yeah.
So Ohio State brings money, they bring eyes, they bring attention. So if Ohio State's undefeated, or Michigan, who's historically one of the great programs in college football history, a one-loss team from that area, from one of those two, they're getting in. Cincinnati can sit at home and watch.
Yeah, it probably will happen. Blue-Eyed Scorpio says I'm undefeated every year, no matter what schedule. Well, not surprising. Eric K for $2. Jeremy, I have not forgotten you wanted a USC hat.
No, I did not.
You don't?
What? No.
That's strange.
I really don't.
That was a weird comment then. But yeah, so that's what's going on in college football. Big Ten, I think will be where my focus will be at these last couple weeks. There is next week. Next week, Alabama does face, I guess, a test. With Arkansas. Now
we got Arkansas, and they still have Auburn coming up too, and that's always a tough game.
It's always a tough rivalry game, even if Auburn's not the best. But Arkansas, we thought they were going to be a test for Georgia a couple weeks ago, if you remember, when we were sitting here talking, and that ended up not being a test. At least not one that Georgia had to study for. So
I think Alabama needs to struggle against Arkansas. They do, because
they've
right now
already though.
Yeah, but I'm just saying. What I'm saying is, if they struggle against Arkansas, it's going to put more doubt that Alabama can even hang with Georgia. So it'll help. It'll help Nick Saban use that. You know what I mean? Because right now, Alabama has always look. Some of you guys can probably look it up. There is, over the course since Nick Saban took over in 2007, and then 2008 is when Alabama really kind of elevated, and they lost to Florida in the SEC championship. Then the next year they won the national championship. So since 2009. I think there's probably less than 5 times since 2009 that Alabama has not been favored to win a football game.
Yeah.
All right. That's fucking insane. That is stupid. Like, we're talking over 10, 12 years now. That's crazy. Stupid.
Yeah. It's not like exaggerating. It's just true.
No, it's not. It's stupid. Like, I would guess like less than 5 times they have been the underdog since 2009. So they're going into this game as the underdog. That's a very strange position for a Nick Saban football team.
You mean potentially a Georgia game? That's what you mean?
Yes. So all of the motivation Nick Saban can use to kind of twist that narrative, because he does this all the time. He takes the media and just twist what they do to motivate his players. You know what I mean? And he gets mad at the media when they try to like underplay an opponent or overplay an opponent or whatever. Like, he does this. If you watch how Nick Saban coaches, when Alabama's playing against shitty teams and they're up like 55-0 with 2 minutes to go, Nick Saban's coaching like his life is on the fucking line.
Yeah, he's never happy with it. Yeah.
But when they're facing a tough opponent and the game is close, you see Nick Saban coaching differently. You know what I mean? He's not as angry. He's more so like, hey, all right, we can do this. We can do this. He turns into a motivator. So he's going to use this to his advantage, and he's going to have to, because Georgia's the better football team.
Yeah.
So,
and it's going to be interesting when that happens, to be sure.
Yeah.
But we did get a Streamlabs in from your black nerdy homie for $5. Says, happy birthday, Ryan. You have been 100% of your grind since the Boston trip. If this does not work out for you, you can shave your facial hair and be cast as an undergrad student or early 20s cis male on a CW type of show. By the way, happy Monday, Jeremy.
Happy Monday. I like your suggestions for Ryan. So
yeah, there's options out there for sure. But thank you, your black nerdy homie. We appreciate it. And we did talk about Lars, $20 that Lars always sends in because he's a badass. Other than that, we're done. Jeremy, what do we got going on for Geeks and Gamers tonight?
Well, before we do that, I did look it up because somebody said it in the comments. So I'm on a site right here. Alabama has been favored by at least 14 points in every game this season. And this would be the Tide's first underdog role since October 3rd of 2015 against Georgia, a game Nick Saban's team won 38-10. And I remember that. So the last time Alabama was an underdog was 2015. Prior to that, that was probably the last time was 2009. So we're talking maybe 2 times Alabama has been the fucking underdog since 2009. Good God. Good God. That's insanity, dude.
It really is. That fucking nuts.
Insanity. So yeah, right here. So here it is. SB Nation says This is back in 2015. Alabama's officially an underdog for the first time since 2009, but barely.
So that would be, Jesus, 2 times in a decade.
2 times since 2009.
Yeah.
And the only other time they've been the underdog, they won 38-10. So there you go. Wow. That's incredible. That is truly, like, that's what I don't think people understand. What Nick Saban has done is fucking second to none, dude. There's nothing like it. But anyway, as far as Geeks and Gamers goes, we're going to be doing a premium stream for geeksandgamers.com members. Myself and Chris and Nova playing some Mario Party. We'll have a couple of more people from the Geeks and Gamers team. And then I don't know what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be streaming. Ryan might be streaming, so I might be joining him. I don't know what you're playing. What are you playing?
I don't know what I'm going to play yet. I've been having issues with SWOTOR, so I might just play Halo Infinite. I guess we'll see.
Whoop! Let's do it. Let's play some Infinite. Where at? Where are you gonna play it?
I might do it on my gaming channel. I don't know.
YouTube or Twitch? Oh, so YouTube.
YouTube. Yeah, I might do it there because I haven't done shit over there for a while. So,
okay.
And that's more. And people are more likely to fucking watch that shit if I share it on my page, my YouTube channel page, than fucking Twitch. That's for sure.
Yes, we know the struggles of Twitch. So, but yeah, so I'll be if he plays something that's something I'm into, either Call of Duty or Halo or whatever, I'll be there with Ryan on his gaming channel. But me and Crystal will be over there for geeksgamers.com premium members. So looking forward to that. And then you'll see a lot of me over on my Twitch channel, either my Twitch channel, D-Day Cobra, or the Geeks Gamers Twitch channel. Look, there's a lot of
one thing we needed
right
was another channel for Jam.
Yeah,
so that's what we got.
Yeah, so just adding more. Maybe I'll start a D-Day Cobra gaming channel on YouTube. So
do it.
No, I'm not. I can't do it. Can't do it. Anyway, thank you guys. Have a great night. We do appreciate everything. Happy birthday to Ryan, my bro. Sports Watch just hit 110,000 subscribers, all because of him. Loving it. Man.
Should have the silver play button in the next couple days too.
Nice.
So that'll be fun. I'll make sure to do a unboxing. Are
you gonna cry
like a bitch during it? I'll make sure that happens when I get a stock letter from fucking Susan Wojcicki. We'll see. But all right, guys, thanks for hanging out. We'll talk to you later. Peace.